Hey everybody, what's going on? We are reacting to another video today, and it's one of mine. Shout out to Troublestarter for the idea. They suggested that I go back and react to one of my old rant videos just to kind of see what were the points of contention at any other given point in the timeline. So I went and scrolled my channel for a little bit. I kind of wanted to find what was my first like official rant video. At this point, I had already made. This was a few days after I think I made the Plarium board meeting one, and also not long after I hit 1,000 subs. I did a thanks for 1K subs video right after Plarium board meeting one. And then this is just a few more videos down. Now, prior to this, I did have one called "Is Plarium Starting to Listen to Us?" But it didn't. I didn't watch it, but that didn't seem like it was as much of a rant as much of it was just thoughts on what was going on. And then there's one from way back about the Foley fusion, which maybe we'll go back and take a look at. But it also, I don't think it was a rant. I don't think it was a rant. I think it was probably just talking about the thing. It's called Plarium. What are we doing? This might be the first time that I actually like gripe or rant. Surprisingly, I thought I was going to find a lot more rants and stuff. There's not as many as I thought there would be. I think for much more so in the past, I expressed all of my frustrations and stuff through skits. I would come up with a way to do it through a skit. And now I'm in a position where it's like sometimes I just would rather talk about it than try to make a video about it, so or a skit about it. So I think this is my first like legitimate actual gripe session about Raid. So let's see what was going on that was upsetting to us.
Hey everybody, I wanted to make a video and just talk for a little bit.
Yeah, you can tell by the
I don't know how long
tone,
it's going to be.
irritated.
I don't know where it's going to go, but
This was October 24th, 2019. Sometimes YouTube will just give you a rank like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. This gives me the specific date for some reason, which I wish it would always do. But October 24th, 2019. So almost 5 full years ago.
I'm aggravated with the game, and I think I can feel it from every other direction in the player base, and I don't understand where
This will be interesting too, because I think this is probably this is probably the beginning of the change in my actual feelings about Plarium. Most of the skits that I've made about them, especially in the earlier part of the channel, were all pretty lighthearted and silly and kind of criticism you would be able to make about any mobile game developer, because the mobile game developers are in a weird spot, and there's just stuff to make fun of about what a lot of them do. But I think this might be the beginning of like the actual opinion of Plarium starting to change. But I have no idea what this is about. I have not watched it.
disconnect is. I don't know why Plarium is so uninterested in this.
Why did my videos?
I get that when you're a developer with any game, there's going to be a lot of complaining and whining from your player base, and that's just normal. That comes with the territory, and you have to be able to decipher what to ignore and what not to ignore. You know, there's always going to be people whining about summon rates, and you know, there's going to be people whining about things that don't necessarily need to be changed. You know, some of you may disagree with me there. You may think that the summon rates do need to be changed. I don't. I don't care about the summon rates. It's not really a relevant part of the game to me. And this is coming from someone who has crappy RNG. I don't pull a lot of legendaries, so you know, I don't care about that. I care about the mechanics. I care about what's available to me without legendaries. I care about what's available to the free-to-play players, and Plarium just seems so uninterested in it, and I can't figure out why. I really can't figure out why. You know, like they're doing this thing right now, this Skull Crown thing, which, fine, cool. Keep being creative. Keep trying new things. I'm all about it. Even if it flops, keep trying. Be willing to be creative. I'm with it. I like it. I want you to keep doing that. I don't want you to stop trying new things. Sometimes they're going to work, sometimes they're not. Fine. That's the nature of the game. I'm with it. Keep doing it. Keep being creative. Keep putting out new stuff. But don't put this kind of stuff out like this and rest on it. This isn't an opportunity for you to sit back and just be proud. Like you haven't really done anything here. This is nothing. Nothing changes here. This is interesting. It's cool. It's new. Again, I'm with it. This is not an opportunity to kick back and rest.
This was the first time they did a 10x? Is that what I'm getting from this?
You haven't really fixed anything. You haven't really addressed anything here. Artifacts need to be addressed, dude. This price to remove and the fact that there's never a free day to do it. What are we still doing?
Told y'all, I've been talking about that since I got here. It has been a point of contention for me since I got here. I think I've always thought it was so insane to never give us an opportunity to do it for free.
Why is that still not a thing? It hasn't even been addressed yet. What are we doing? Why? I don't understand why you're so unwilling to hear your players. You know, you did that forum post a while back where you told us some of the stuff you're hearing. There's some stuff you left out that I know good and damn well y'all are hearing. You can't just ignore the stuff that you don't want to acknowledge. It's still there. It's still a problem, and it's a legitimate problem, man. It's not like griping about summon rates. It's real. It's a problem. Look at this crap, man. We're 5-star gear, 50,000. I think 6 stars 100,000. You kidding me? 600,000 a piece. If I had all 6-star gear on somebody and I wanted to remove it, are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Seriously, there's got to be a day a month where we get to do that for free.
To be fair, we do finally have it. I think it started happening this year. Maybe they sort of did it a couple of times last year. But, I mean, you think about me talking about this in this way in 2019, and we started getting it in 2024.
Spider Dungeon.
And I talked about this, which video was it? I was talking about, like, them getting credit, them getting too much credit at times, I think, for doing certain quality of life things, where it's like, yeah, you finally did it. So great. That's good. That's good. But like, why did it have to take so long? And why is it incomplete? Why is a lot of the quality of life they give us incomplete? The way that they've decided to implement the free gear removal thing and give you opportunities to get it from a few different places, I think is cool. It's great. That's not necessarily an example of what I'm talking about that's incomplete, but like, as I talked about, like the gear filter and the champ sorter and like auto level up, auto rank up, they all still need more than they have. And it's been such a long time that we've been waiting for this stuff. So it's so interesting to hear that like it was already this frustrating in 2019.
Sure, it's possible on a very specific scale in a very small window.
What am I talking about?
Spider Dungeon.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, it's possible on a very specific scale in a very small window, but it's boring. There can't only be one way to do it. That's boring. Your players are going to lose interest.
I kind of forgot Spider used to be such a problem in the game. I think maybe the biggest problem as far as like playable content, because there was like one way to do it. And if you didn't have the specific champs, you just couldn't do it. Like you just actually couldn't do it reasonably.
Your players are going to lose interest in it. And they're going to lose interest in the game completely because you're just so uninterested in what we think. And it's a very strange mentality to me. There's a lot of things I love about this game, and there's a lot of things I think you guys do great. But there's some things that you guys don't do well at all, and it's going to be the death of Raid. It just is, man.
I mean, that's apparently wrong. They apparently can't kill the game if they want to. I don't know how. I don't know how they've pulled this off. But that was apparently not a good call, because it really just seems to not matter what they do. This game is not gonna die apparently. So, GG on that one.
Maybe not in the next month, but you keep doing things the way you're doing them in a year, for sure, no one's gonna be talking about Raid anymore.
Yeah, that was. I guess you can buy your way out of that.
Because I've put a lot of time into this. I've put a lot of money into this. I've had a lot of fun with this game. I've had a lot of fun making content for this game. It's going to be a real shame if this game dies. and I have to find another thing to do.
Don't have to worry about that.
I mean, I'll be all right. I'll find my stuff, but I like the game. I've gotten friends to play it with me. I've made a lot of new friends. It's been a really cool experience for me from start to now, and moving forward. I anticipate it's going to continue to be a lot of fun and very interesting.
It's so interesting to like look back on, and just as a whole, like saying, like, if you keep up this type of behavior, the game is not going to succeed. Because on one hand, yes, some of that's certainly the ad budget. I don't think there's any disputing that. Some of their success and the reason that they stayed relevant is because of the ad budget. Is it all because of the ad budget? No. But to act like that's not part of it all, I think, is a little bit disingenuous. So aside from that, though, what has kept them relevant? It is a good game. It as far as the way it looks, it was revolutionary for the time that it came out, and for a while, it was the only mobile game that looked like this, which developers took forever to figure out. Now we've got games coming out that look really good, but for a long time, it didn't. There were developers making solid games that just did not look good, and they were not able to compete. So yeah, the game looks really good. The game is fun in a lot of ways. There's got to be something too, as we've talked about recently, there's got to be something to a certain level of, like, is discord the right word? A certain level of disdain that you need to try to maintain with your players? Because it's not, I don't know that it's like, oh my God, this game's so fun, I can't stop playing it, I love it. The game is fun, and a lot of us do love it, but I don't think it's like, I couldn't imagine not playing this game, it's so fun. So what are the other elements that they seem to have figured out? They seem to have struck a pretty good balance of, like, the game's fun, there's a lot of content, there's a lot of good things about it, but we're going to keep you pissed off. Don't start getting to it. It's like with this most recent Summon Rush thing. You know, Nub did the poll, and everybody was like, the highest answer on the poll about how do you feel about Raid was positive. Everybody was like, hey, it's been a pretty good year. Seems like they're doing a lot of good stuff. And it was like they heard that, and within hours, they were like, no, fuck all that, dude. Be mad about this. Here's a Barbarian-only Spider event. Here's a few things to be pissed off about. Now, get to it. It really seems like there's some magic formula that they figured out there. It's like a perfect storm of the game being good and fun, and also them being bad and keeping us just the right amount of irritated with them.
I mean, in ways, I'm attached to this game a little bit. You know, it's significant to me in a few ways, and it's just a bummer that you guys are operating the way you are, and I don't understand it, and I don't have all the information, and maybe there's some things I don't understand. I'm totally willing to hear that. But the problem is, there's nothing to hear. You don't communicate with us. Beyond telling us you're resetting the server every morning, there's not a ton of communication here. And when there is, you don't really show us that you're hearing us. You are nerfing Faction Wars. That's a great move. Good. It took a little bit too long, I would say. But you're doing it, and that's great. And I say that with no sarcasm, no irony. Good move. It needed to be done, 100%. But this notion that it was perfectly balanced, the idea that ever came out of anyone's mouth, is silly. You know it's not.
Yeah, Faction was this game crazy when it first came out, and I think it was still kind of crazy even after the first nerf. I think they had to nerf it another time or two. But when it first came out, it was insane. It was like only the top of the top player base was beating it. Only the big boy whales were able to do it. So there was a lot of speculation that it was just a whale milking thing, where they're going to release it really hard for the first few months, let all the whales get through it, let all the whales summon their way through it, nerf it down a little bit more, let some of the other spenders do the same thing, and then eventually get it to a point where it's balanced for everybody. That was kind of the idea. Whether or not that's true, I guess none of us really get to know, but that was the idea. But yeah, Faction Wars 1.0 was crazy.
And it's okay that it's not balanced yet. It's new. It's been out for a few months. It takes time. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of things to consider. There's a lot of testing that needs to be done to balance this game. I don't expect it to be perfect yet.
Yeah.
I expect there to be effort, though. I expect there to be effort in achieving that balance, and I'm just not seeing it. You're throwing up a lot of new champs, and again, I'm with it. I'm with the creativity. I appreciate it, but all you're really doing is throwing out new champs. None of them are really changing the game that much. Someone made a point to me in one of my videos that all it's really doing is making it harder to get the champs that you need to do certain things. It's like, yeah, that's right.
So yeah, now we're at a point where like they've added so many champs that there's, and maybe some of this is by design, and I think some of it's just a byproduct of the number of champs that they were adding, but they actually had to slow down how many champs they were adding because they were doing, every time they would do a fusion, there would be a whole set of new champs to finish the fusion. So it would be new rares, new epics, and they were doing it every fusion, and that's why they started coming up with different ways to do fusions, because I think they were just, they realized like we can't keep this up. There will be 15,000 champs in this game in a few years if we don't stop the way we're doing this. But yeah, at this stage of the game, when the roster wasn't nearly as deep, you kind of needed very specific champs to do some of the, especially Spider. You needed very specific champs to be able to do Spider, and the more that they added champs that weren't a solution to Spider, for example, the harder it was to get the champs you needed to do Spider. It's like they were just diluting the pool, and it was frustrating.
So it's almost like you're just diluting the champ pool. So I just don't know. I just don't know what you guys are doing, man. I don't know where the disconnect is. I don't know why you're so uninterested in what the lifeblood of your game thinks. There are people who've spent tens of thousands of dollars in this game that have quit it. Do you understand how frustrated someone has to be to spend that much money in a game and then stop playing it altogether? That is not them. That is not them being babies or unreasonable. They wanted to play this game. They wanted to support you. They wanted all those things, and you forced them in a position where they feel like they can't justify it anymore. That is not their fault across the board. That means you were doing some things wrong, and I don't know who's running things. Again, I don't know who's making the decisions, but it appears that whoever's calling the shots has an ego problem. And you think everything you do is perfect, and you think you're on top of everything, and you think you know what you're doing, and in some ways you do, and in other ways you don't. And it's some very important ways that you don't.
And like that's still the way that it seems to me. But I feel like with the success of the game now, with all of that considered, we have to go back to the, like, is it intentional? Have they struck some formula of happiness and unhappiness that has created this thing where the game just continues to do well? It's so interesting. I know that there's a lot of psychology in it, and I bet they have a dedicated department for it. You know what I mean? Like I bet that's something that's really important to them, is to work, like, deal with the psychology of the players and what ultimately results in the best outcome for the game. That would be so interesting to get to hear them specifically talk about. Because I just can't believe that every decision they make is like, we're doing our best and we hope this is the best thing for the game and the players. I just cannot make myself believe that. There has got to be some intentional fuckery going on. You know what I mean?
That are going to be the death of this game. You gotta open this game up more to your free-to-play crowd. Free-to-play players run out of energy so quick, they might as well not bother.
This was 2019, real quick. Look at the max energy in 2019. And then I'm sure you have rate up right now. Look at your max energy now in 2024, nearly 2025. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen that happen in any game. 5 years and the energy cap has not changed.
And they can do so little. The further they progress, the less they can do. There is a free-to-play wall in this game. It shouldn't be. It should take longer. I'm with that. I get it. Spending money has its perks. But the perks should not be you're able to do things that other players are not. Aside from speed of progression, you know what I mean?
Also, to be clear, I was not free to play at this point. So this was not me like griping about my own struggles. Um, I've always kind of been. I'm very free to play now, obviously, but like I've always just been an advocate for that. I've always thought it was really important that if you're going to make one of these games, that you have to try to strike that balance of it being playable for free to play players. Everything in the game should be playable. And it should take longer. It should be harder. You should have to work a little harder to solve the problems. As I said, spending money has its perks. But that's just always been really important to me because I was a free to play player for a while in Summoners War. I think well over a year of my time in Summoners War was free to play. And it's brutal, man. It's a brutal grind, but it's fun. It's enjoyable when there's success to be had. But it's a real shame when there's not. And I think it's really disrespectful to have a hard wall like Plarium used to. Because like you don't know that till you hit it. And when you hit it, you realize, okay, well I've either wasted my time investing myself into this game, or now I have to start spending money. Or get really, really lucky. Be one of the 9 people that's gonna get lucky enough to pull exactly what I need. So again, I'm pretty sure I was not free to play at this stage. That's just something it's always been important to me.
Yeah, more rolls, more summons probably means more legendaries. Fine. There's got to be free-to-play comps that can beat this game. There has to be. It's a free game. It can't only be beatable by players who spend money. So I don't know, man. I don't know what y'all are doing. Artifacts. You got to get on the artifact thing. You got to get on these dungeon balances. You got to get on these events. These events are silly.
Man, even then, the events already sucked.
And I said in a video a while back, the events were not a problem at the time. Not a problem in the way of creativity anyway. A problem in the structure, yes, absolutely. There's been a problem in the structure of the events for as long as I've been playing. Creativity, I was like, fine, I understand there's a lot of other things to do. It's not a problem yet. It's becoming a problem. You're gonna have to. There's a big conversation to have about these events. One, they got to be net positive. If they're not all net positive for the player, some of them have to be. You know what I mean? Some of them have to just be based on. I don't know. They have to be structured differently. Summoners War.
I used to talk about this a lot more than I have lately. It's almost like it's been the way it's been for so long, you just kind of forget about that aspect of it. But I think the only net positive events we ever have are the summon warm-ups. And I mean, those are bullshit anyway, you know what I mean? But yeah, if any event or tournament you want to finish, cost you. Tournaments, it's more reasonable. That's inherently competitive. Inherently should be a little more grindy. You know, you're that I don't mind so much that the tournaments are like that, but events, I just feel like they don't understand. They missed the point of events. Events are also very grindy, and I just don't think they're always supposed to be. Maybe occasionally you throw one in that's grindy for the people that do get a kick out of it and love it, but I think events are supposed to be rewards for playing the game. another excuse to reward you for participating in the game. And it's just not like that. Everything is like, is it worth it? Do I want to spend this many gems to, or this much time, or this much whatever? Do I want to dump my shards out right now for that? It's like it's always a sacrifice, and I just don't think it's supposed to be like that.
Net positives for the players. Interesting. Bounce around to different content, do different things, get stuff worth whatever you're spending to do the event. Come out on top of that exchange. You're not doing that in these events. 10,000 points in a Summoner Rush event, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. You're so obviously just testing the limits to see what players are willing to spend to finish these events. That is so ridiculous. That is so dirty and gross. That is turning off so many players. You are so clearly milking your players, and that is just not gonna last, man. That's not gonna last.
It's wrong. For some reason that I maybe will never understand, that's wrong. It seems like, I mean, we're all still here. Seems like we can't get enough of it.
This seems like it should be so easy.
So what about
and you guys make it so difficult. You make it so hard on yourselves. I cannot understand that logic. I don't know what you guys are doing. But if that's your strategy, you better milk all the money you can, because that's going to last a couple more months, and that's going to be a wrap. People, you've put yourself in a position where there's a conspiracy theory tied to everything you do. Every decision you make, your players are skeptical about it, and they assume that there's something deceitful going on. Faction wars, a lot of your players think you put that out to be so difficult so that you could milk your whales, get all the money you could out of them so that they could do it, and then nerf it for everybody.
And then turns out they didn't even nerf it for everybody the first time. They nerfed it for like what seemed to be the next tier of spender, and then eventually nerfed it for everybody.
How do we say you're not doing that when you're so clearly doing it in other situations? There is no way that a free-to-play player finishes a 10,000 point Summon Rush event. There is absolutely zero way it happens. So I don't know, man. I don't know what y'all are doing. But I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. Even some of your sponsored creators are getting sick of it. Like, do you understand that? How do you guys not know this?
Who would it have been?
It's so...
I feel like it would have been like Stu, Chosen, Salt. Maybe Incredible John was still around. So I was like, which hand do I have up in the thing? Kizzle was probably around. Darth was one of the like OGs, right? Or did Darth come in a little later? I can't remember. Can't remember.
So easy. Balance your game. I don't know, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to think. So I'll just keep playing. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I'm very casually playing this game. I'm more focused on the fun content at this point. I'm still throwing out guides occasionally, but I'm more interested in my free-to-play account right now, because at least it's going to be interesting for a while. I'm at a point in this account where if I'm unwilling to spend money now,
I think I had
too much more I can do.
There was a free-to-play series on my channel before Free to Succeed called Adventures of the Pauper, and it went on for a little bit. It was not super long. There's episode 14. I thought I saw an episode 6. Yeah, there's 15. Oh, y'all can see this too. Okay. There's 16. I think maybe 16 might have been the last one. It didn't stick like Free to Succeed did. Um, interesting to look at.
I can keep tweaking clan boss teams and trying to get a little bit more damage and leveling up food. You know what I mean? I don't have an auto Spider 20 team that I'm interested in working on. I can make it happen. I've got the tools, and I've played around with the idea a little bit. I'm doing the Belruden's counterattack strat. I'm doing something like that, playing around with ideas with like Fellhound and stuff. So I've got it in there somewhere. I just don't care. It's boring. It's boring that it's either have 5 legendaries and nuke it down, or build that specific team, like that specific strat. That's the only other way to do it. It's boring. I don't care. I want to I want it to be interesting. I want to put together free-to-play teams for you guys that can do this stuff. It's not there. I want to build I want to do videos about building teams based on the mechanics. It's not there.
Yeah, this is back when I was playing the game very heavily, and I was one of the people figuring stuff out. I used to love to do that. I carried it over from Summoner's War. I used to love to like figure out how to make champs work that weren't popular, and solve problems in the game as content for free to play players and stuff. I used to love to do that, and I just haven't.
You need max HP damage. You need defense break. You need weaken. You need Cold Heart / Royal Guard, Draco, Ghostborn. You need that crap. You shouldn't. You shouldn't need those specific champs. So, I don't know, man. It's just a random gripe session. It's all over the place. I could do this for an hour. There's no reason to. So I don't know, man. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think about anything I've said or anything I didn't. I don't know, man. I'm just having an aggravating day with it. It's just on my mind, pretty heavy for some reason today. So, thanks for hanging out and listening. I do have some fun stuff coming. I'm waiting on some stuff for a video I'm trying to get up by the weekend that hopefully you guys will get a kick out of. So, and then I got some other stuff I'm working on. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to keep doing what I'm doing. I just needed to gripe for a little bit. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hearing me. I'll catch you guys next time.
Nice. 4,800 views for the time. I don't know how many of those views came much later, but again, I was barely over 1,000 subs at this point. That's pretty big for the channel at that point. Let's see some of the comments. I want Ray to succeed, but I don't know if Plarium does. Agree with everything you said. The game is truly awesome. It's my first mobile game. Attracted to the art style, sucked in by the mechanics. I also agree that Spider 20 mission, yep. Yeah, for anybody that came like after that stopped being as big of a problem, Spider was such a big problem for such a long time in this game. Unless you got lucky and pulled a handful of very specific champs. I don't want to build them for one. Yeah, I have 2 Royal Guards and 3 Cold Heart. I don't want to build them for one level. Yeah, love a good rant vid. Doing events is straightforward and does not necessitate changes in the software. They're probably preparing a new version. Yeah, it's so interesting to like go back and watch a video like this from 5 years ago and then see the comments. And just see that like so many of the players already felt this way. Like so many people were already over it in 2019. These rant videos are definitely needed because Plarium might change one day. Nope. Nope, not yet. That is pretty interesting, man. It's like, has the game gotten better since then? Yeah, like far and away. It's very playable now. It's a very playable game through and through, pretty much. I think it's in a good place overall for, well, that might be too broad of a statement. I think in a lot of ways it's in a good place for free-to-play players. I think it's in a good place for spenders. I think it's in a pretty good place in a lot of ways for everybody. It's pretty approachable. I've got the Free to Succeed account. We've been rolling for a while. Um, there's a lot of nonsense still. Obviously, we're talking about some of it currently right now in the videos we've been doing. But that's interesting to go back and hear. Like it was all it was a lot of the same stuff. A lot of the same types of frustrations. The only thing I guess I was really flat out wrong about was that it wouldn't last. That if they didn't change the way they acted, it wouldn't last. Because man, here we are, and then they still just regularly lean into ridiculous stuff. Dude, I hate it when YouTube recommends me my own video. I know I'm watching my own video right now, so maybe it's like, oh, you like watching your own, but like, don't recommend my own videos to me. That's so stupid. Um, yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm pretty sure if you know of a rant that I did before this, you can let me know. I'll go back and check it out. I think this was the first time that I was ever compelled to like legitimately didn't even feel like an aggressive rant. It was more of like confused. What is y'all's deal? I don't even know that it would classify as a full blown rant, but um, definitely aggravated. Very very interesting to hear. Little time capsule. That's one of the cool things about having a YouTube channel is you get to go back and see very specifically in certain periods of your life, like what was going on, how you communicated. It's cool. I thought it was a pretty solid video. Again, the only thing I really was very clearly wrong about was that if they don't change it, it's going to die. Because man, the game they apparently can't kill the game if they want to. So anyway, I guess that's it for today. We'll get out of here. Let me know what you guys thought about this one. If you liked this version of a reaction, we'll go back and look at some other stuff. I did see the Foley video from a long time ago, and I thought that might be interesting to listen to. That's way pre 1K subs. That was like one of my first raid videos that wasn't just a flat out build guide. So that could be interesting to go look at too. See kind of what my feelings were, because we were caught off guard by the Foley thing. I was a pretty big fan of what Plarium was doing up to that point, and then so I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, I was kind of like, "What the hell is this? This is such a weird thing for y'all to do out of nowhere." So that might be kind of interesting to go back and check out. But anyway, yeah, you guys let me know if you like this and if you want to see like the Foley video and maybe some other stuff if I can find some old rants or something on the channel. Or maybe even go back and look at some of the other creators' old rants. That could be interesting too, to see kind of what some of the other creators' points of contentions were. Points of contention were. Maybe that's right. Years ago. But anyway, that's it. I'm done rambling. I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, and I'll see you next time.